We finally have proof that the FEDNOW system can use XRP through Uphold and this partnership that Ripple made. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to discuss how ODL and transactions, and if the price of XRP is depending on how much is in those pools. I have a great clip from Zach Rector explaining this. Also, we're going to get into some ISO news, some other XRP news, and I have the greatest video of all time that I'm going to play for you. Something that I really like to watch. All of, a lot of Ripple's and XRP's partnerships over the past few years, and people and banks that are using XRP. It's very exciting. So I hope you stick with me through this whole video. Let's go ahead and get into this. Ripple Payments, this is from Chad Steingraber. Ripple Payments is connected to FedNow service and running bank deposits for Uphold instantly. XRP is being used for domestic transactions. That's really big, right? In the US. And so here's some more information on it. Just sent money from my Uphold to my bank using XRP. The transaction took place almost instantaneously or immediately. To my surprise, look who settled the transactions before the pictures are worth 1,000 words. And you can see what that means. So here he's saying that FedNow credit, FedNow deposit from Uphold Inc., right? Using XRP. That's really exciting news, right? That's really, really cool. And also Chad put this out. A reminder again that Ripple and Uphold have partnered together for crypto to Fiat Bank payouts, right? So this is a really big and cool deal. Once you kind of get this into the system and they start testing it, they see how it works and it's instantaneous and it's cheap, it's reliable, then more and more people or institutions start to use that technology. That's how it works, right? They dip their toe in very, very briefly. They test the waters and then they start going in with bigger and more transactions. That's how it's always been, especially if you're sending trillions of dollars a day. If you're a bank sending, that much money, you're going to want to make sure the system is reliable and steady and works before you actually start really going crazy, right? So I thought this was really great. This talks about on-demand liquidity. This is from Jack the Rippler. On-demand liquidity transactions will not increase the price of XRP, and that's true, but the pool itself will increase the price by unlocking trillions of dollars and by providing liquidity. Providing liquidity will increase the price and not the transaction. So let's go ahead and play this, and I have another clip I want to show you too after this.
Again, to tell you a story, 3 years ago, we actually experimented with 12 banks across different geographies who did not have pre-funding relationship with each other. We gave them a bunch of digital asset called XRP and asked them to use it to see if it works for cross-border payments as a bridge currency. They came back to us after 6 months and they said, look, it works beautifully, but we cannot use this. And there are 2 issues with this. Number 1, it's highly volatile, so we cannot use it. Number 2, my regulator will never allow me to use this. There is no risk weighting to this and it's too volatile. There is no way the central banks will allow me to use this. This was in 2015-16. So we went back to the drawing board and came up with a new product, as I mentioned, ODL, on-demand liquidity. And basically what that product does is, through that product, banks do not have to hold a digital asset on their books. They could leverage that product, connect with a digital asset exchange, which mind you is fully licensed and supervised, and then leverage that exchange to source liquidity in real time. And because the entire transaction happens in less than 30 seconds because of the speed of the ledger, the volatility risk is taken care of. So we removed the 2 big concerns that banks and payment providers had and almost productized it in a way, and then we launched the product last year in October. Again, to tell you,
it's all about taking the risk out for the banks, right? If the banks don't have a lot of risk, they're going to try to use what you have, right? And so this is also a clip. This is from Zach Rector. I don't agree with Zach on everything that he says, but in this clip, he's right. And so I'll play it. This is talking about ODL and price impactment on the XRP ledger.
Does Ripple's on-demand liquidity, otherwise known as ODL, impact the price of XRP? Many people have been asking this question, many people confusing the facts. I'm going to give you the answer and keep this real with you guys. Ripple's on-demand liquidity product, the buying and selling that's happening almost simultaneously, is designed to be net neutral. In fact, they've even said this many times in their own words, and even in their Wells notice submission to the SEC, they specifically said that it is designed to be neutral, the impact on XRP's price. So they're basically buying and selling XRP instantaneously to facilitate the on-demand liquidity flows. But the reason why I actually believe that indirectly Ripple's on-demand liquidity does impact the price of XRP is because Ripple has to allocate a certain amount of XRP off to the side for on-demand liquidity. Is that 1 billion XRP, 5 billion XRP? We don't know. But that amount of XRP that is set off to the side does make XRP more scarce and impact price. Does Ripple
So obviously, the more XRP that we have in these pools that are going to be needed for these, ODLs or these other technologies that Ripple has built out for banks and central banks, the more XRP is needed, the more that is taken off the open market, and then the more scarce the asset becomes, right? And that's really what we're hoping for, right? We're hoping that a whole bunch of XRP is needed to be used by all of these banks and central banks and other parties, and that not a lot of it is flowing on the open market, and then the price goes through the roof. That is really what we're hoping for when we hold XRP, right? We know when we look at the market cap of XRP that it's going to take an awful lot of volume and money to come forward for the price to really get going to where we really want it to be, right? If we're going to retire with this asset, if we think this XRP is a good asset to hold, that we think that one day it might lead to a place where we can no longer have to show up to our day jobs and we can just go do and spend and do whatever we like, what are those assets out into the world? Like, that's what I try to figure out right now, right? Like, what assets can I be holding right now that I think are going to be worth more in 5 years or 10 years down the line? And XRP is always at the top of that list when I'm looking at assets that I'm holding, because Ripple has really built out technology that every single person on the planet can use. Even kids can use instant payments, right? If someone's like 12, 15, right? Kids are pretty smart nowadays. I don't have any, so I couldn't tell you exactly what they're doing, but they're sending payments, right? I'm sure they can figure it out, right? The metaverse, it's a cool use case, but it really hasn't been solved on a massive scale, right? AI, it's still being built out, right? You need tons of data centers and all these things. DePIN, decentralized infrastructures, being built out, right? But payments are one thing right now that all 8 billion of us can use. And then here's Brad Garlinghouse declaration of about 27 trillion held by banks and liquidity, with the promise that XRP unleashing the vast wealth. Let me just go ahead and play this clip for you. It's a little bit older of a clip, so don't shoot the messenger.
One of the things we all have to remember is that the value of a token over the long term is really going to be derived by its utility. What problem is it solving? How big is that problem? How many customers do you have? There's no question there's a lot of hype in this system, and I don't actually think that's a good thing. For Ripple, we use this digital asset called XRP to settle liquidity needs between banks. So today there's $27 trillion parked at different banks around the world so they can make payments between each other. Our view is you can use a digital asset like XRP to do that in real time. Because XRP has been so efficient, it settles a transaction about 3 seconds compared to Bitcoin.
So it just passes through that currency for that period of time.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And guys, also too, I'm always wearing my XRP merch everywhere I can go because I just love it. There's a link down in the description for a partnership with Crypto Lids. If you want a cool XRP gear, please take a look. I'd love to have you support my channel by buying a shirt and supporting XRP out in the world. That'd be pretty cool. This is from Smoke, from ISO website themselves. Yes, cryptocurrencies can be transported as data, content, and ISO messaging. So we've talked about this a lot, right? The ISO standard really doesn't have anything to do with crypto, but now this new rich data messaging cryptocurrency can be used in this message set with ISO 24165. I'm not going to get into too many of the details here. I really just wanted to touch and give Smoke a shout out. He's been doing a lot of really good work and posting, and I just like supporting people like that. All right, so this is one of my favorite videos of all time for XRP, and I'm gonna play it for you. It's 2 minutes long. Stay for this whole thing. If you've seen it before, watch it again because it never gets old.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's High-Level Advisory Board on FinTech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the website? Ripple.
Yeah, it's that good, right? Whenever you watch that, it's just like a rush of good feelings, a good dopamine hit for the day. Ashley or Crypto Barbie or Amelia, put this out. On April 8th, the new instant payments regulation will come into effect, and we will see a solar eclipse, and NASA will launch 3 rockets. Coincidence? I think so. It says, I don't think so. 2024 will be big XRP, and so this is what she is reading from. It says, EU has today confirmed that the new instant payment regulation will come into effect on April 8th. Will it do anything for our asset XRP? We'll have to see. A lot of these dates have come and gone, and nothing has really happened, but who knows? One of these days, we're hoping that it does moon. New Monetary Authority of Singapore regulations focus on new digital payment service providers and specific guidelines for digital asset custody. Ripple, back in November 2023, gained a special institutional license ahead of new regulations and partner with Medico. So big deal. Big deal. Love to see it. And this was the final thing. This is actually from 2018. It's always good to look kind of in the past and where we're going here. A lot of you are new and you're just learning this for the first time. So blockchain has gained huge attention from banks, private equity firms, and startups, and other financial institutions. The big banks such as JP Morgan, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, HSBC, and many others have already executed a transaction with blockchain and are looking forward to implement the technology into their business models. That is really important. Blockchain uses cryptography to provide the trust of a third party, and then it talks right here about, Ripple's 300 financial institutions across 40 countries. Obviously, this has gained in traction over the past 6 years. The function of Ripple is similar to Swift, right? Swift is the current slow payment system that is currently being used. 50 years ago, yes, it was Swift to move money, between countries and banks from 2 to 5 days. Today, it is just too slow. Swift has made some upgrades and they are doing kind of like same day or next day settlement, but at the end of the day, it's still very costly for banks to do this. And people and institutions want multiple choices, right? They want to say, hey, do I want to go the Swift route and pay this enormous fee, or do I want to go with Ripple and XRP and pay maybe a lesser fee, right? It's about choice in the end of the day. And it says with Ripple payment can be settled within minutes, unlike Swift, which usually takes 1 to 5 days. Ripple uses private, non-distributed blockchain technology, and transactions can be made by fiat currency or its own XRP currency, as per McKinsey. Banks are estimated to save $4 billion a year in cross-border payments. I'm sure this fee is a lot more now. That's the video, guys. If you made it to the end, please let me know. If you are not subscribed, please help me grow. I can only do it with your help. I'll see you next video. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Crypto Sensei. Aloha.